Okay, this is Biotechnology Exposed, Part 11. Here will be another example of the exorbitant pricing in biologics. Here was a teenager from Alberta, Canada that was part of a clinical trial of the drug Myozyme. And he was getting it for free during the clinical trials, but after Myozyme was approved, they now wanted to charge this teenager with Pompey's disease $500,000 a year for his medication. $500,000 for Myozyme. That is absurd. Okay, now I want to talk about Avigenics' role in keeping affordable biologics from the peoples of the world. Their part in this conspiracy. Avigenics was probably brought on board in the middle 90s after the Roslin Institute, which was doing the majority of the work on proteins in the egg whites of chicken for vastly cheaper biologics. Roslin Institute became the world famous Roslin Institute because of Dolly the sheep. At that time, they formed, as part of the conspiracy, they formed Avigenics, a company founded by Dr. Robert Iavarie to make transgenic chickens to produce drugs in their chicken eggs. So now that Avigenics, which was a private company, was on board, then they needed a publicly traded company to be actually the publicly traded face of failure of this project. And that's where Avigenics came in. Avigenics, they fulfilled three requirements here of the conspiracy, and that is that they had a drug that they wanted to also suppress, which was a natural interferon, which is the only real things out there right now are recombinant or synthetic interferons, which, if a natural interferon was on the market right now, would put synthetic interferons out of business. So Avigenics had that. They also put a timestamp on the project as of late 2000, that they were just starting up the project when in fact this transgenic chicken project was in the works since the 80s. So they put this timestamp that, yeah, we're just starting this up, and it's December of 2000, the year 2000, and we don't have chicken one yet. When in fact Avigenics by that time had a flock of chickens, probably thanks to Helen Sang, the lead scientist at Roslin, who was working on it since the late 80s. And Avigenics would be the public face of failure of this project, meaning that they would have the project and be intentionally inept for the next 7 years until they filed for bankruptcy. If they were inept for 7 years, people that were following it would think, well, how much is this project worth if the company that's trying to progress it can't get any financing and eventually files for bankruptcy? There mustn't be anything to it when that was all part of the plan. They were the public face of failure, and they did it very well. Avigenics was founded in the early 80s and founded around a little bit, then they started to move along. They started to get contracts and financing. Before 1996, they got $50 million in financing, which is probably more than they got after they got the Avigenics project. So next time I'm going to talk about the role of Helen Sang in this whole project, and how she started, who she worked for, who she was on the advisory board of, and who she eventually worked for that went out of business. See you next time. Bye.